Hello and welcome to Faithfully Feminine. My name is Tilia and I'm so glad you're here. Today we are going to be talking about dating for marriage, as I'm getting married in 4 days and marriage is on my mind, so I thought, why not bring it to the channel? I want to talk to you girls today about making sure you are not wasting your time on men who you're going to end up breaking up with or who are not going to put a ring on it. I'm going to give you a couple of tips on what I did personally to ensure that my time was well spent, it was not wasted. I was very intentional in my relationship with Jacob, and I want to show you how I did it. Society has set women up for failure here because now that traditional marriage has gone down, women find themselves in relationships for years and years and years on end with no commitment and no real destination. And men are not taking responsibility for wifing up a woman, taking care of her, protecting her, and committing to her for life. I think of Taylor Swift. I haven't listened to her latest album, but I did hear some commentaries on how she mentioned how her past boyfriend that she dated for 4 years had wasted her time. Girls, if you want to get married, you cannot afford to give 4 years of your life away, especially if you want to have kids. You want to build from now. Like, I don't see any value in spending 4 years with someone only to never see them again, and then you've wasted 4 years that you could have been having children, because having children earlier is just easier. I'm not saying that having children later is bad at all, but for me personally, and this is all coming from my opinion, so please take it with a grain of salt, but for me personally, while my body is young, I can bounce back faster, and that's what's been so important to me about making sure I can have kids as young as possible, which is why I didn't waste my time. And also, I value my time, I value my energy, I value where I put my effort, so that where my effort goes into, it grows, it's building something. It's not just kind of going to this guy that I don't really know if I want to marry him, or I don't know if he's going to want to marry me, but this works and it feels good for now. I've never been like that, and I want to tell you guys about what I did to make sure that that didn't happen to me, because I was very protective of myself. Also, for those of you who are watching this and who don't want to get married or who are fine with that lifestyle, there is no judgment at all, but this video is not quite for you, because it's for the girls who want to get married and some ways to do that. So Jacob and we met just over a year ago, and I had previously gone through a really refining time. And my biggest advice first, before you even start dating, would be to really get to know yourself, okay? You knowing yourself means that you know what you want, what sort of person you want to build a life with, and then that can help you vet in the future the people that you're dating, okay? So 3 steps to knowing yourself. 1, knowing your personality. Make sure in this time that you have of singleness, you are trying all the new things that you want to try. Don't leave anything out. Discover different aspects of your personality. Journal, travel, try new things. And then some of the stuff that you try might not stick and you might not like it, and that's fine. But then you might find something that you really, really love and that brings out a different part of your personality. This also helps if you're trying new stuff to just like get out in the dating market and meet new people as well. Just a little side note for that one. I traveled for probably all up, it was all different stints, but maybe like 6 months in total of just backpacking by myself. And who I was before then and who I am now is so different, because I was by myself and I had to just learn what I liked. I'm in a new city, I'm in Nice, France. Do I want to go out and party, or do I want to go walk on the beach and take deep breaths and pray? I learnt so much about myself when I took off these, like, no one's watching me, no one knows what I'm doing, I don't care what anyone here thinks of me because I'm never going to see them again. What do I choose to do? So giving yourselves opportunities, and you don't have to go traveling by yourself to do that, although it's very helpful. Giving yourself opportunities to really get to know yourself will help create a sense of self that you know what or who you would mesh with really, really well. And then the second part to knowing yourself is knowing your values, okay? What is so important in your core? What do you feel if you're not following or aligning with that value that you feel like uncomfortable? For example, I love open-mindedness. I don't like being closed-minded. That's one of my values. I value adventure. I value faith and spirituality. So when I'm living in my life and I'm not in alignment, if I'm being closed-minded, if I'm cutting God out of my life, or if I'm not trying new things, something feels off in me. It's really important for you to know this. You don't have to have the exact same values as the person you end up with, but they do need to be compatible. So it's really helpful if you know your values. I would suggest printing off about a list of values. You can just Google 100 values, go through and circle 10 and then move it down to 5, just so you have an awareness. What's important to me? And not just important like personality wise, but what's like ingrained into my core? Is it loyalty? Is it peace? Is it friendship? There's so many different values, and you might be quite surprised at what is really important and you didn't put a name to it. Okay, so those are the two things of really getting to know yourself, so that you're not kind of flippantly being like, oh yeah, maybe. Again, we're saving time, girls. We are dating to get married and start a family. So let's not be wish-washy about this. It's the most important decision of your life. Then we need to make a list. Yes, I know. I avoided making a list about what I wanted in a man for a long time, but my best friend told me to do it just before I met Jacob. And I read back through that list now and I'm like, ooh, everything is ticked. So what you need is a list of needs and wants in a man, okay? What does your man need to have? What characteristics, okay? So think of your long-term goals and think of your values. What is important that your life partner have in common with you, or maybe even different to you, because you need to be balanced out. And then what are some things that would be really nice if they had this? For example, my needs list was I needed him to be a Christian. Superficial, whatever. I needed him to be taller than me. It was really important. I needed him to want to have children. I needed him to have a good work ethic because eventually I wanted to homeschool, so I needed him to be able to provide. And then I needed him to want to homeschool. I needed him to be fit and healthy because that's something that's really important to me. On the want side of things, I was like, oh, it would be really nice if he was like really intelligent. It would be really nice if he played the same sport that I did. It would be really nice if he had sisters or something like that. I can't remember what I put in my wants. I didn't have a whole lot. But basically when you've got your two lists, then everyone you meet, you can pretty much just like hold them up against this non-negotiable list and then like cut out people who are wasting your time. It sounds brutal, but again, this is the most important decision of your life. You need to be really like sober-minded about it. All right, so individual work, knowing yourself and knowing what you want in a man, okay? What's non-negotiable and what do you want? Now, when you start to date, this is the fun part. I want to preface, before we talk about actual dating, a mindset shift that I want you guys to have, because when I shifted my mindset in this area, things changed for me instantly. My non-negotiable list was high standards. I had very high standards, and the things that I wanted would narrow the pool, right? Christian, taller than me, because I'm pretty tall, holistic, homeschool, like it's this big. And so I had this belief that my pool of dating was this big and that I might never find somebody who ticks all the boxes. I truly believed, like subconsciously, this might not ever happen for me. Maybe I'll have to lower my standards. Maybe I'll have to date a non-Christian or something like that. But God challenged me maybe 6 months prior to meeting Jacob, and he said, where is your faith? Where is your faith that I have someone for you? that I am your provider, that there is more than enough. I have more than enough to give you everything you want. God is the supply. He is everything. He wants to give us good gifts. Something I've been struggling with lately, really accepting He wants to give us good gifts. He doesn't want me to be alone, and He doesn't want me to compromise what is important to me, and He wants to help me build a life that honors Him. So I really encourage you, if you have the mindset, there's never going to be a guy that meets my standards, my standards are too high. No, but is your faith too small here? Okay, so I just want to challenge you, because if you have a limiting mindset of thinking, nah, there's never going to be someone who ticks all the boxes, then that's probably going to be your reality. Okay, so put your faith in God that there are plenty of men who meet your needs and wants list, and just reaffirm that belief over and over again. Okay, so you're in the dating pool, maybe dating apps, maybe just hanging out with friends or someone you like. Vetting. Both Jacob and I talk about how we vet people very quickly on the obvious things, so things that are pretty clear and you know when you meet someone pretty quickly. My list had healthy, fit, masculine, so you can kind of tell that by looking at someone. You only really need one conversation with someone to be like, oh, I go to church, and see what their reaction is, see if they're a Christian or not. So in the first 2 dates, you want to be asking questions. I know you don't want to come off too strong, but again, there is a man out there who wants marriage too, and he wants to talk about the future, and he's happy to talk about kids because he wants the same things as you. And if someone is scared off because you're asking big questions, that's not a man, that's a boy who hasn't thought about his future. My first actual one-on-one deep conversation with Jacob, we stayed up till 2 a.m. just talking about our dreams for the future and the way we see the world and the political climate. We went straight in deep because we saw each other and we're like, you're ticking my boxes. I don't want to waste my time not knowing where you sit on certain issues. So we talked through everything, and we knew on the first night, I went to bed and I was like, this guy is the first guy I've met who ticks all my boxes. I'm so excited. And I almost felt I was like, oh my gosh, release. I can pursue this. I can put my all into this, because I know, at least on the surface, all the boxes are ticked. Then you need to obviously spend time with them, watch their behavior, see how they talk to other women, see what their friends have to say about them, to dig a little bit deeper. But it's so important in those initial stages, you are asking the questions. And if they dance around the topic, or if they're not sure, cut it, okay? If they're saying things like, oh, I never really wanted to get married, I'm not really sure. No, cut it. A man knows what he wants. The man you want to marry in not 5 years, in a shorter period of time, he knows what he wants. Okay, and then also with the abundance mindset, of there are plenty of men. I'm not if this one doesn't tick all the boxes, it's not like you don't have any left over. You need to remember, I can cut this one because God has more for me. He has more people He can bring into my life that I can get to know and see. And I don't know if God necessarily has the one for us, but I know that He helps us in this journey. So I do believe that He will continue bringing people around as you have faith and as you continue to stand firm in your boundaries. You have lots of options. I need you to believe that, because if you don't believe that, then you might lower your standards and compromise, and then you'd have to live with that. Or if you end up marrying them, you'd have to live with that, or you waste your time on someone who you knew in the beginning doesn't really stack up to what you want. Please don't be afraid to call things off early. I was dating this guy maybe a year before Jacob, and it was only for a month or 2, and he was really nice and everything was lining up. At that stage, I didn't want to date a Christian. I was going through a phase. However, he said that one time we were having a conversation, he said, it's really important, I would need to live with somebody before I married them. And I said, I can't do that. I come from a traditional family. I don't want to do that. I believe in marriage, and that's like living with each other is for marriage only. And we had that conversation. I went home and I reflected. He was a really nice guy, but I was like, there is no point us having such a clash if he has to live with someone before marriage and I cannot live with someone before marriage. I called it off early. Before I got any more feelings, before he got any more feelings, before we wasted any more time, call it off early, and then you can continue looking for the one who God has for you. So many words. I feel like I spoke very fast, but that is all of my points for you. So this is a very logical video. Normally I'm just a little bit more like ideas and stuff, but I really think this topic is so important for women to understand how precious and valuable your time is and your energy is, and it should not be wasted on boys who do not know what they want. Okay, so that means you need to get clear on what you want. Okay, and then when you're dating, you can vet, ask good questions, and that can set you on a really good path to marriage. Another caveat, this method does not guarantee if someone meets all of your checklists that you're going to marry them, but it saves you so much time and heartache. Do not settle for wishy-washy people who do not meet your non-negotiables or who dance around them. That is not good enough for you. You deserve so much better than that. And there are men out there, plenty of them, who will meet your lists and are good, decent men. Another little caveat, someone I follow posted this, I can't remember who it was, but they said, when a woman can let go of the perfect man and embrace a good man, that is when she is set free. So with your lists, remember to keep those wants and needs separate, that your needs are really important and the wants you can let go, because you're not looking for perfection. You're looking for a good man who meets the needs that you would have moving forward. I hope this helped you. Let me know what you think down below. I wish you all the best in your dating endeavors, and please, lovely ladies, know your worth. Protect your energy, protect your time. Mwah.